What is up, For Honor brothers and sisters? And today we are talking about perks.
Yay! Why are we excited?
Someone from the community reached out to me and they were curious if I had a video on perks. I do not have a video on perks, so this is going to be my video on perks. So perks are a collection of offense, defense, and assist micro buffs. That's what I like to call them, micro buffs. They're available for all heroes, and there are 21 total perks in the game. Now, right here, you'll see it talks about perks. This is just a overall summary. I'm gonna dive a little deeper than what you see here, but if you're ever looking for perks for all you new players out there, or maybe you're just coming back to get a refresher, this is where you can find it. You saw how I got to it, this is where you can find it. And you can see it says all assists, all defense, all offense perks. So each hero will have a combination of these totaling 7, but not necessarily a perk from each grouping. So if you're curious as to what category perk your hero falls under, just scroll through them and they will be illuminated if the perk is tied to your hero. So you see I have Shigoki here. He has 0 offensive perks. You see none of them are illuminated. Absolutely 0. He has 4 defensive, and then he has 3 assist perks. So this can also clue you in on heroes' expected playstyle versus the way that you want to play them. And it doesn't mean you have to conform based on something as minor as perks, in my opinion, but it does give you an idea. And just like gear, as you rise through the reps, your perks will rise also. And you need 600 points to attain each perk.
Tell me more.
And if you want to see Shigoki's perks all together, here they are. So you see his 7 perks that he have, and we talked about how he doesn't have any offense, and then the defense, and then the assists, and then of course you can see them all together. But that's just a way, if you're ever curious, like, okay, what perks do you have? Is he more offensive? Is he more defensive? That's just a way to look at it. Your hero begins with default gear that provides you 1 perk. As you attain gear, you will certainly want to swap it out due to the fashion. You're going to want to improve that, and that's going to affect your perks. But don't worry about it. Perks are not as significant of a buff to waste steel on, especially low rep heroes. So I recommend waiting until you get to like legendary status before you truly create your perk build. But it doesn't mean you won't have perks along the way. So make sure you choose perks that fit your playstyle for the hero as much as possible and possibly feed off of your feats. Now, when I talk about feeding off of your feats, I want to show you my Nobu, for instance. So we're going to go to my second loadout for my Nobu here. So for my Nobu, go to you see my feats right here. You see how I have speed revive. So I have speed revive feat, and knowing that, I included a perk build that includes Rising Dawn. So if you go to my perk build here, you will see I have Rising Dawn. Now what is Rising Dawn? Rising Dawn means when you revive an ally, they get 75% of their health. And that could be a huge difference in a team fight, because every little bit of health matters. So this is just an example of what I'm talking about as far as having your feats, depending on your playstyle, how you want to do it, make sure you can line some things up. So I decided to line up Rising Dawn with my speed revive because it'd be a big benefit to my team based on the type of player that I am. You can see it's more of a support role that I'm trying to fill. Let's quickly talk about the gear tiers that you're going to climb through. So I mentioned default, which is your common gear tier. That's your starting point. And then you go rare, which is rep 1. That's when you hit that. Heroic at rep 3, epic at rep 5, and legendary at rep 7. And you're gonna get pieces that trickle in for the next gear tier slightly before achieving it, and that's normal. So like if you're a rep 6, you're gonna start getting that legendary gear when you're higher in level. But you're gonna also notice that those colors are on your perks as well. So you'll see them from like top to bottom. If you're looking at this Shigoki Sailor Head, and over to the right, you're gonna see it has common, rare, heroic, epic, and legendary. And you'll notice that epic and legendary, there's no numbers there. And that's because, as you see, my rep is 3. So I'm sitting at the heroic rep. I'm not at epic, so of course I can't get that yet. Now, since it takes up to 600 points for each perk, it's gonna take you some time to get all 3 perks. But let's say even a common build. You can do that. You can get all 3 for the common, but there's no foul in waiting to actually get the perk build you want. So I suggest just waiting till you get your legendary gear so you can actually build the actual perk build that you want. Just to continue on the legendary gear, for example, legendary gear maxes out at 260 and 120 points. Now what I mean by that is that if it's a common perk, and you can see it here, if it's a common perk and any other tiered perk, then it's going to be 260 and 120. So common perk and heroic, common perk and legendary, common perk and epic, it's going to be 260, 120. It's going to be 130, 130 if it's gear with combination of heroic, epic, or legendary perks together. So if you have a legendary and an epic, you have a legendary and a heroic, you have an epic and a heroic, then that combination of perks is going to be 130 and 130. Now, of course, once you add in refining, it can increase more, but refined gear doesn't come into play until your reps 9, and you're going to have 2 diamonds, and then rep 12, you'll have 4 diamonds on your gear. And I'm going to touch on refinement again shortly. Now, I'm going to do a Nuxia build who I already have a rep 8 with legendary gear to show you, so that's why I'm going to go with her. But first, some info. You have 3 inventory slots. So you see them here in the loadout. 1, 2, 3. So those are your 3 slots. Those inventory slots, this is my loadout right here. So you're going to have 6 separate build slots for each one. So you're going to have 3 for armor, and that's going to be your helm, your arms, and your chest. And then you're going to have 3 for your weapons. So as you see here, there's your weapons. 1, 2, 3. So you got 6 total. So 3 inventory slots, 6 separate build slots. We're focused on loadout 2. That's going to be one of my inventory slots for this one. You can carry up to 60 gear for your inventory, and that's a total for all your 6 separate build slots. So that's 60 total across all 6. So keep that in mind. You can do 10 in each one. You can do 50. Well, I can't do 50. That'd be too many. Well, I guess you could. You really could do 50 and then have 54 in one, and then just have 1 in each section that you're actually using. But who would really do that? But I'm just letting you know, it's an option. You can do whatever you want. Each piece of gear can provide points towards up to 2 different perks. All right. And that's a primary and a secondary, or 2 secondary perks. I was just talking about that a little bit. You can upgrade perks 20 points at a time. When I'm talking about upgrade, you see how you can upgrade and it goes to 220. You can see where the endurance goes from 20 to 40. So that's going to be 20 points at a time. And if you have a perk with a diamond, when I was talking about that, and that's the refinement, kind of reaching back on that, each refinement is 10 points. So when you have the diamonds, that means you can go an additional 10 points. So you have 2 diamonds, then you're at 120 or 130, like we were talking about before. You can go to 140. It just depends. The good thing about perks is you can upgrade them until they're maxed out. But it's gonna cost you steel and salvage, y'all. So that's the only thing that stinks, because we know we like to use our steel on our fashion and everything else, especially they coming out with these hero skins and everything. So you just gotta be judicious. Be judicious. Okay, so for this Nuxia 3 perk build, it's gonna be a 3 perk build, all right? You will see I have default gear. So there's my default gear. It's all up at the top. And you see I have Gale Storm perk, which I was talking about. Now, that Gale Storm perk is illuminated. You can see I have 900 in there. You can't change this perk. The default perk cannot be changed. And you get 150 each default perk right here. I'm saying default perk, I'm sorry. But each build slot, the perk is 150 points. So you got 150, you got 300, 450, and then you go 450 times 3, times 2, my bad. That's gonna be 900. That's how we do 900. We're talking about math here, right? So 150 times 6, let's do that. 150 times 6 is 900. So that's why it says 900 over the 600 there, because anything over 600, y'all, is a waste. So when you're doing your builds, try to hit the 600 mark or just barely go over, because you don't want to waste. There's no point in wasting, especially if you're doing your builds as soon as possible. Now, all 7 of Nuxia perks are offensive perks. And I want to show you this right here. You see, look at her perks. She has no assist perks. She has no defensive perks. They are all offensive perks. Now you notice only Gale Storm's illuminated, because obviously that's the only perk that I have. And the other ones are more of a light gray. But when you go down to defense perks, it's really dark. So that's how you know you don't have them. But she has all offensive perks. So that gives you an idea what you need to be doing with Nuxia. You need to be aggressive. That's part of her playstyle. But when I'm looking at these, I'm also trying to decide, based on how I play Nuxia, what do I want to go with? And for me, I'm going to go with Gale Storm, Devour, and Crush Them. And you're probably like, okay, why are you going with those? You know? Well, for me, everything is based on a takedown. Everything is based on a takedown. I didn't want to go Headhunter because I go matches where I don't get executions with Nuxia. So I want to actually be able to use my perks. So that's why I go with Gale Storm, because upon hero kill, you gain 20% movement speed, which is good for transitioning from point to point or place to place if you need to. Upon execution, you get health. So if I do happen to get an execution, that's great. I still get health and I get the speed. And also you go Crush Them. Upon hero kill, your next attack deals 30% more damage. So not only are you getting health, let's say if you get execution, but you're going to get that movement speed. And on top of that, you're going to get 30% more damage on your next attack. So if you're getting ganked, that next attack, that's going to be ferocious. that's going to be ferocious. And imagine you got revenge on top of that, right? So that's why I decided to go with Galestorm, Devour, and Crush Them for Nuxia. Now, since we're focused on perks and not fashion, I want to show you guys this advanced view. Now, you see I hit the right trigger. This is the advanced view. So I don't need to be looking at, you know, oh, I like this helm versus this helm. All this stuff doesn't matter. And it kind of just gets in the way because what I'm trying to do is do my build. So if you hit that right trigger, it says advanced view, and you can pull up and you can actually stay on this particular one. See, I can actually stay on the helm and I can still see how the rest of them are stacking up. And you just got to do the math as you go along. You know, that's the only thing about it. Now, one of the first things I know is since my Nuxia is rep 8, she isn't high enough to have any refinement gear. So that happens at rep 9 and rep 12 respectively. So I know the Crush Them perk, which is a legendary perk, will max out at 120. So since we have 6 slots, that means I need to have 5 of them with the legendary perk. So I need 5 of these slots to have the Crush Them because it's only going to max out at 120. And then from there, it's a balancing act and the luck of the draw based on match rewards, scavenge gear, etc. So I can get her Galestorm and Devour common perks along with the Crush Them. So I'm going to go with the Xylo helm here. Now, Xylo, you see it right here. My first one that I'm choosing has Galestorm and Devour. Now, Devour has 260, Galestorm has 120. Now, that's the max. They're not at them now, but that's the max. But I like that because I know I have Galestorm on others. You know, I know I have Galestorm and Crush Them right here. So here's a Galestorm and Crush Them right here. So if I choose this one, so now when we're looking at it, I have my one Crush Them. That means I got to have Crush Them on the rest of them. But I got to have some combination of Galestorm and Devour because I have to get my 600 points, right? I have to get 600 points. So I know I got 120 for Galestorm and 260 for Devour and 120 for Crush Them. And now when I go to my chest, you see I got 260 also for Galestorm. So I think I'm good so far. And we're going to go ahead and go to my chest. And we're going to go with the, here where I have Devour, because here's another 260 Devour. So now, since the helm had 260 Devour, the arms have 260 Devour. So I'm already at 520 for Devour. So I only need one more Devour the rest of the way. So that's good. And this is a Devour and Crush Them. And I got to have a Crush Them, as we know, the rest of the way. So this works out. This works out well. So now you're looking at it. I got my Crush Them. I got another Devour. I only need one more Devour. And the rest can be Galestorm and Crush Them. But I have to have the Crush Them. So I keep going. And I'm going to go. I only have 2 choices here, right? So here's Galestorm. This is the only one that has Crush Them. Because if I chose, if I chose this one, it's Devour and Endurance. That's not going to be good enough. So I have to choose the Galestorm and Crush Them. See where I'm at. I'm not worried about my totals right now. I'm doing the math as I go. So that way I know. And it's adding up nicely. I still need to find a Devour though in these last 2. So hopefully I can find a Devour here. And this is where I think I'm going to go with, oh, there, Devour. Because here's a Devour and Crush Them. I got 2 of them. Here's a Devour and Crush Them. Oh no, that's a Galestorm and Crush Them. So since I need a Devour, even though I have a Galestorm and Crush Them here, I really need to go with the Devour because I know I need it unless I have a Devour here and Crush Them, and I don't. Since I don't have a Devour and Crush Them here, I'm going to go back and use this one. And now I'm over. You see the 600? Now it's illuminated. And now I can go ahead and I know I have Galestorm and Crush Them here. So I can go Galestorm and Crush Them. And you see how 2 of them are illuminated and 1 of them isn't. And that's okay because when you look at my totals, all I got to do is just upgrade. Once I upgrade, and I'm going to do that here so you guys can see, I will be good to go. But I'm not going to upgrade, even though I can. You see how I'm at 240 for my Galestorm, 240 for my Devour. I'm going from bottom to top, 240 for my Galestorm, 200 for my Devour. I'm not going to upgrade those. You know why? It's because I'm already over 600. I'm not going to waste the salvage and the steel on that. So I'm only going to use it until I have what I need. And I need 180 for my Crush Them. So I'm just going to go along and do those until I hit the mark. All right. So let's do that. So here's the first Crush Them. See how I can upgrade? It's 280 steel and then 300 salvage. I have plenty of salvage. I'm sure most of us do. You can see your salvage total that's right below your gear inventory. And you just keep going until you maxed out. And now I'm maxed out at my 120. And you see I'm at 30 now for that one. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get it. And it's 20 every time. As we know, I only had to go up 1 there. And this is only going up 20. 1 more there. And that can go 40, but I want to see what this one can go. This can go 60. I need them all. I need them all, so it doesn't matter. Oh, I had to change the look. That was an accident. So I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade them all. That's maxed out. So now I need 60 more, and then I'll be good. Why do I keep doing that, y'all? We're going to get this all set up. Perk maxed out. See, there you go. And now you see them all illuminated. And that's my build. So you don't have to max it out. If you don't have to don't max it just to max it. You go there and then you go to your perk definitions and you'll see it's all illuminated. All 3 of them. Galestorm, Devourer, Crush Them. You go to my offensive perks, same thing. That's pretty much it. That is perks in a nutshell. I hope this helped you understand them just a little bit better, especially for your new players that see this. But if you have questions, drop a comment. And if I don't answer it first, I've consistently seen members of the community/society answer and provide advice. And I appreciate you all. There are plenty of videos you could be watching and you chose this one. I'm always appreciative of that. I can't even say that. Appreciative of that. It's late when I'm doing this, y'all, so excuse me. That's all I have for this one. Good luck, y'all, with your perk builds. Take your time. Don't wait still. And until next time, peace.